Welcome to Survival Stories with Steph. As someone who suffers with chronic pain, I'm looking for fellow survivors and thrivers and the common threads between them. I'm so excited to have my very, very good friend, Lisa McAfee, on today. So happy to have you here.
Thanks, Steph. I'm so happy to be here.
You have been somebody that I have wanted to have on since I even thought of the idea to do this.
Wow.
You're just incredible. I've watched you over the years. Of course, I know a little bit about your story, and I never would have guessed that you'd been through anything like this, just watching from the outside in. So I'm so excited to be able to honor Cameron today and for us to talk about him. I know that you still do so many things to celebrate his life, even today. So I'm very honored that you're sharing this story with us today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me to be here and talk about Cameron a little bit and some of the things that we do just to make sure he's never forgotten.
I love this. Well, can you share a little bit about Cameron with me? Just a little bit about kind of your story of him.
Yeah. So Cameron passed away when he was 6, and he was in first grade, and he had cancer. And we were in and out of Rady's quite a bit, but we had basically from 9 months old to 3 years old, he had cancer 3 times. But then we got to the point where, we thought he was good to go. Yeah. He was cured. And so from age 3 to 6.5, he was just a normal boy, just having fun and, going to school and doing all the normal things. And then he ended up getting leukemia from the chemotherapy he had had.
Wow.
So, and that happens less than 1% of the time in his situation. I remember we had to sign the form at Rady's that we acknowledged that the chemo could result in leukemia. But it was less than 1%. We had to do it anyway.
Yeah, you have to.
Had to do it. So we were pretty shocked when 3.5 years later it happened. And he passed away about a month after that, so we didn't have very long with him. But
a month.
He was just a normal boy before that. And even when he was younger than 3, we were still doing gymnastics, and as long as he wasn't in his treatment, we were just being, typical family I have a daughter as well. She was 4 years older than Cameron. And he just the happiest boy, so smart, really good at math. He does not take after me. He takes after his dad, the engineer. But just a happy-go-lucky boy. And I think because of everything he had gone through, he also had a level of grace that I would see in other children who had cancer, and I'm sure other issues like that. There's some grace there that isn't necessarily found in the average elementary school child.
No.
So, so we lost him, and that was in 2004. So it's been 22 years, which is crazy to me.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And my daughter is now 33, and she has 2 children, and her son, my grandson Traeger, is 7, and he looks just like Cameron.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that picture. I go, he looks exactly like him. Is that wonderful and beautiful for you when you're playing with him and seeing that?
It is, just having a little piece of Cameron.
Yeah.
And he looks so much like him even that my granddaughter, his little sister, I watch her every Tuesday, and she'll see a picture of Cameron at our house, and she'll point at it and say, Traeger.
Wow. Isn't that just amazing how the genetics and then he just came out like that's just and a grandkid can bring so much joy to your life. I'm sure just in general that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
It's the best.
I'm like you don't have to say no ever, right? You just probably just say yes all the time, I imagine, wherever you go.
Yes, it's as good as everyone tells you it is.
Oh, I can't.
None of the hard stuff and all of the good stuff.
I love that.
And at the end of the day, you give them back.
You're like, I'm going to go
shopping.
And, get some wine. Oh, I love it. So tell me a little bit, not to take you back to when it first happened, but I'm so curious, what were some of the things that you did immediately? Like, it probably just hit you as a shock, because I'd imagine even though he was suffering with cancer for all that time, then to be diagnosed, hey, now you have leukemia, and then 1 month later, like that's just such a quick transition. It must have just taken your mind and heart a lot to catch up with that. Like, were there things that helped you sort of get through that period?
Yes, I would say I have the 3 F's: faith, family, and friends.
Amen, sister. Amen.
And so my church, and I still go to St. Bartholomew's Episcopal in Poway. That was my spiritual home and my family, and I don't know how I would have gotten through it without having that faith and knowing that I'm going to see him again. And I look for that. My family, that's probably obvious. Your family rallies around you and supports you. And then I had several girlfriends who were there for me every day. I think they got together on the side and they're like, okay, let's take her for a walk, everybody. You've got Mondays, you've got Tuesdays, you've got Wednesdays, because I found walking really helpful. I just got a lot of physical relief, I guess I would say, from just walking. And my crazy mind felt like if I walk far enough, I'm going to see him. And my heart knew that wasn't going to happen, but I really got a lot out of walking. So I had these amazing friends, and 2 in particular, Sharon and Tracy, are still with me to this day, walking this journey with me. So
oh my gosh.
I would say in the beginning, and then the other thing in the beginning was I went to a bereaved parent support group every week for probably 3 years, and it was run through the Jenna Druck Foundation.
Okay.
And the Ken Druck started that in honor of his daughter, who had passed away during college in a bus accident in India. So he's a psychiatrist by trade, and then he started this bereavement group. And it was a lifesaver for me as well. I have a friend, also a bereaved mom, and she took me to the first meeting, and I never looked back. So probably 3 years I did that.
And she was your friend before you went into the bereavement counseling, or you knew her
She is a dear
of that?
friend as well, and she still does. She runs a bereavement group in Poway called Bereaved Parents of the USA, and she had lost her daughter Brittany at 14. She had a heart condition that wasn't diagnosed until she was, I think, in junior high, and so she did pass away, and I was there with her for that. But then we became really close after Cameron, and she grabbed me by the hand and dragged me to that meeting, and I think I was only 2 weeks out at the time, and it was everything I needed. And just being with other people who are going through the same thing was so helpful. I tried another bereavement group that was for all kinds of bereavement. It could be a spouse or a sister or what have you, and being with parents was what I needed. I needed that journey.
To me, I mean, I have not been through this, but to me, that it's the hardest thing I can think of having to get through. So I can imagine you would need to be around other parents who had experienced that kind of loss. And so I'll just share with you that I haven't experienced to the degree you have, but I've actually had multiple miscarriages. So like for a long time, to me, I felt that grief, you know what I mean? And like to some degree, and it's a deep pain that doesn't go away for quite a long time, if it does at all. So I guess I can kind of imagine like what you've been through, and I mean, it's just the strength that you have is incredible. And I do feel like God kind of surrounded you with like the right people. Like that's a gift in itself, like a friend who knows to take you to bereavement counseling and can get you in that door. Because for me, when something crazy happens, I don't know what to do right in that moment. It's just, you're just kind of trying to survive.
It's just putting one foot in front of the other and wondering how you're going to do that.
That's
what I felt anyway.
Well, that's awesome. So how long do you think it took to where you started to have more good days than bad?
I would say about 2 years probably. And, you know, I had my daughter, so she was 10 when Cameron passed. Her name's Heather. And I knew I needed to focus on her because she was also going through sibling grief.
Wow.
And so I needed to be there for her just as her mom, as I would anyway, you know, involved in her activities in school and her friends. But also I knew she was going through some grief as well. So I had to shed my grief a little bit or put it in the back and focus on her. And that was a blessing because she's amazing. And we did so many fun things, you know, as she was growing up, traveled to Europe a couple of times. And she was a gymnast. We went to the 2012 Olympics in London to gymnastics, and we saw the women's team finals, and so we have a lot of great memories. And so I think, but then I would go in my room and cry, you know, after I was with her. So I would say about 2 years before I felt more myself.
Yeah.
Not fully myself, but a little more myself. And I could have some days where I didn't think about Cameron 24 hours a day.
Not the whole entire day, but still a lot of the day. I mean, oh my goodness. And was your daughter's grief did it display differently than yours? Like childhood, do children grieve differently than adults do? I'm assuming they do.
Yes, that's really amazing that you figured that out, because I probably wouldn't have. But one of the grief specialists at Rady's, they're so great. They rally around you and they help with the siblings. And she explained to me that children don't have the emotional ability to fully just grieve. So they'll grieve and then they have to lock it up in a chest and then just be a normal kid. And then something might happen and they pull it back out and they go through it. And so I definitely saw that with her. I mean, the day that we came home from him passing away at the hospital, we went to her school, to her elementary school. They brought her to the office for us to tell her what had happened. And the first thing she said was, I still want to go to the father-daughter dance tonight.
Yes. I've actually heard that some kids, that helps to just keep it going normal. Like they're like, I want to go to school the next day or whatever, because it for them, just keeping it normal. So did you guys have to go to the father-daughter dance?
I called a friend of mine whose daughter was good friends with Heather.
Good.
And I said, can your husband take Heather tonight as well? And of course they did. So
see, that's where like good friends and family do come in, where you're like, okay, I can handle that, or you can handle this one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so how long do you think it kind of took her to sort of come back to herself? Because 10's such an impressionable age.
It is.
It
was hard to say because she would be great for so long. And then there would be a little thing like, oh, she got a C on that test, and I'm talking to her about, why'd you get, she's elementary school, but I'm like, so what do you, what was going on with that test? And she said, don't you know what today is? It was like, not the date that he passed, of course I would know that, but it was the date that something they did together that was a happy thing, and she was like, that was the day that I took that test. And so I would go, okay, let's focus on that. And I would say the last time we really dealt with anything, she was 16. And I said, you know what, I think we're going to go see the counselor again.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to. She's like, I don't need to. And I said, that's okay, we're going to go. I'm going to take you there. I'm going to drop you off. And you're going to go inside, and if you want to just sit there and say nothing, then
that's fine.
That's up to you. You can totally do that, but we're going to go. And she ended up really needing it, and we saw the therapist a few times, and it was great. And she did not sit there with her mouth closed.
She didn't, because she needed to get it out.
She opened up.
Yeah, I think therapy is so helpful, just to sort of talk things through and have somebody maybe reframe something that's in your head. My brain is just kind of a bad place to be sometimes, it just goes and goes and goes. And so sometimes I'm like, I just need to process this out loud with somebody and then them give me feedback so I can just move on from the thought, kind of break that cycle of marinating, I guess, or whatever on whatever's going on.
Yes, I think that's what it was. It kind of broke the cycle for her, and she could get out what she had been storing up for a while. And then one of the other things that's been really helpful for us is we knew early on, even when we were just heavy in the grief, my then husband, but now former husband, we knew we wanted to do something to honor Cameron going forward.
Yes.
And he had loved baseball. He would watch every baseball game on TV. He played backyard baseball on the computer. He played catch in the driveway with his friend or his dad. He talked about baseball. He would draw pictures of baseball caps. I mean, he just loved it. And he had played Little League on the T-ball. Coincidentally, it was the Angels. He was on the Angels
that's not
T-ball
coincidence.
team in kindergarten. And so we knew that whatever we were going to do needed to revolve around baseball, and especially probably Little League. And so we did two things that we're still doing to this day, 22 years later. We began sponsoring the T-Ball Angels every year in his name, and this is through Poway American Little League, I should say. And then also the most important thing is we started the Cameron McAfee Sportsmanship Award through Poway American Little
So
League.
awesome.
And when we first started, we talked to the league, and we were thinking small at the time, like, let's just do T-ball. There were like 5 T-ball teams. So each coach at the end of the season pick one player from your team who exhibited the best friendship and sportsmanship and was there for his teammates, cheering them on.
Wow.
And so for a couple of years, we just did T-ball. And then about 2 years in, I talked to the president of the league, and I said, we would really love to expand this to all levels. So from T-ball to the majors. So there's usually about 33 to 37 teams from all those divisions. And they were so great, Poway American Little League. They opened up their hearts and said, absolutely. And so every year at closing ceremonies, we all go. And some of the friends I mentioned that have walked this journey with me, they're there as well at closing ceremonies. And I do a little talk about Cameron and where the Sportsmanship Award came from. And then every coach calls up one player and says, you know, a little bit about why that player got the Sportsmanship Award, and then we give them the Cameron McAfee Sportsmanship Trophy. And it has really meant a lot to us, but I think also a lot to the league. And being in real estate, I cross paths with a lot of people in the area, and I have had so many parents who will say to me, you know, my son got your son's award when he was in 3rd grade or when he was in minor Bs or whatever. So many. And one story that really stuck with me was, you know, we had the fires in 2007 in Poway, and there were a lot of families who lost their homes and at a minimum had to evacuate. And I was working with a family in real estate, and the dad told me, you know, we lost our home in the fire and we had to get out quickly. And I told my son, run into your room and get one thing. And what he came out with was his Cameron McAfee Sportsmanship Trophy was the one thing that he brought. Are
you kidding me?
No, that was the one thing. And I've had so many parents who will say, yeah, you know, my son's a really good baseball player and his team usually gets a trophy for 1st or 2nd place. But what means the most to him is that sportsmanship award that he got.
That's what's so huge about it. It's not like based off of your performance and all of that. It's your internal character and how you treat your teammates, what kind of human you are.
Exactly. That's what I usually will say to the kids when I do, you know, the little presentation on closing day is, it's great to be good at baseball and you get a trophy for being great, but this trophy is not about what kind of baseball player you are. It's what kind of person you are and how you treat other people, and you should be so proud to get this award. And so the last part of it I want to mention is that in January of 2020, so right before COVID, I saw a call coming in from the league, and I'm at work, and I always thought there might come a time when the league is like, you know, we're kind of done with this. We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I see this call coming, and I pick up the phone. I'm expecting that, and I'm preparing myself, like it's going to be okay if we can't do this anymore. And instead they said, we would like to dedicate Field 1, which is the main field, the Cameron McAfee field. And if you would be okay with that, the whole field, we will no longer call Field 1, and we'll do a big sign with his picture, and it'll be dedicated in his honor. We'll do a ceremony and dedicate it at opening day in 2020. And so we had opening day, and then COVID happened, but we got to do the dedication. And so to this day, and my grandson plays T-ball, or played T-ball. He's in rookies now. Every game I go to, I walk past this big sign with Cameron's picture and his name, and it means so much to me. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing that we've done that has helped me shine again.
I think that that's so incredible that you do it, and you do it every year, and the fact that they kind of double down on it encourages. I would love to personally be involved at our company. So tell us a little bit about what people can do, like if they want to support you in what you're doing, because I feel it's incredible and such a cool way to honor him and help other kids too. It's just incredible.
Thank you so much. Well, you know, basically the financial thing is the trophies. So I have 2 friends who donate some for the trophies, and then my former husband and I put in the rest. So if anyone wanted to donate towards the trophies, that's amazing.
All right. All right, people, we're going to get these trophies taken care of this year for sure.
And then just from a emotional support standpoint, it's always, as you can imagine, it's a bittersweet day for closing ceremonies when we're doing this. Just having someone like you there with me, with our other friends, would mean the world. So it's,
I'm in.
And our friends come out onto the field, where we're giving away the trophies, and I feel their support. And every time when I do the speech, I feel Cameron on one shoulder and the Holy Spirit on the other shoulder, and then my friends behind me. So that would be great emotional support.
It's kind of the only way you can explain this is like the whole supernatural Holy Spirit. So because all the different things that got connected to make this, it's such a hard thing, and I don't want to take away from that at all. I just have to say how beautiful it is to see, like, 20 years later, you're still going onto a softball field with his picture on it, and then your grandson standing underneath looking just like him. I mean, that's just like, it blows me away.
It's really amazing. I love that, and I love going to his games and seeing Cameron's picture there means a lot. And like I said, the fact that so many people throughout the community have shared how much the trophy and the award meant to their child means a lot to me.
That's amazing. So when is opening ceremony? What kind of time of year? Is it coming up?
So closing ceremonies are coming up, and that's where we do the trophies. That's on Saturday, June 6th this year.
Saturday,
it's usually
June
in the
6th?
morning. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's amazing.
And they do it, so they do a whole thing for closing ceremonies where they also give out first place, second place for all the different, but they always let us go first. So we come out on the field first, and they do the Cameron McAfee Sportsmanship Awards. And it's so cute because some of the kids that come out are, this big. They're,
how cute.
They're like 4, 5 years old. And then you also have the 12-year-olds, and they are so awesome. And I love that they're into it as well.
I think it's an amazing thing for any age to be a part of and to see, and what a cool legacy that is. Yes. I mean, that award, oh my gosh, it's a short life, but what a meaningful one. You know what I mean? Like, that's just absolutely incredible. And what you've done with a tragedy, and how you've just navigated that, and the joy that you exude on a daily basis, it just blows my mind. And like you said, I think even with him, you saw a special character inside of him. When you suffer, it can bring that out to where you like, oh my gosh, there's like beauty in there,
There is.
Kind of gets dug out in a way. Well, and you, just real quick, you're married to one of my friends who I love very much.
I do
Eric.
too.
Yes, he's a real estate. Can you just share a little bit? I mean, you guys are the cutest couple to me. I've known Eric since I was 18. I was like a little realtor in the office, and I would go ask him advice, and he actually saved me from a really bad investment years ago. I was like literally at the point putting in an offer on a lot to like build a house or whatever. This was years and years ago. And he's like, I don't know if I'd be doing that right now. This market's looking a little squishy, or whatever he had said. And oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Like, listen, and I would have lost my shorts. So.
Well, and I can tell you that Eric will always give his opinion.
And it's the truth. It's good, though, because it's on. That's why do you think I went to him? I just thought. Sure. And then I saw the two of you together. I just thought, this is just a match made in heaven. I mean, you guys are just incredible.
Thank you.
Together.
He's awesome. We knew each other as friends first, which
is
the
way to
do it, right? And we dated for 10 years before we got engaged, and he completely shocked me. We got engaged in Bora Bora, and I was not expecting it at all.
That is so cute.
And then we finally got married last year on Maui with 55 of our closest friends and family.
Oh, I love that.
So we were together for 12 years before we got married. But he's amazing, and he's so supportive. And it's interesting because he never got to meet Cameron, obviously. But he feels like he knows him, and he has supported me every step of the way for the last, it's like 13 years now, on on this journey. I mean, he's at closing ceremonies.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I
he's
can
there.
totally see him doing it.
And he's such a good, grandpa to the grandkids.
Oh, how
and,
cute.
Yeah, they love him. They call him Poppy or Papa Eric.
They call him Poppy. That's what my kids call my dad, Poppy.
So
like,
cute.
he doesn't have a name anymore. Like, he's
Right.
Poppy and my mom's Mimi, and we all call them that. Like, if there's no kids around, that's
You're
their
so
name.
proud of him. Yeah,
Just gets
that's
changed.
great.
And what's your nickname again? It's different.
Oh,
It's
so
for grandma.
Traeger, I wanted to be grandma. That was my plan.
Yeah.
But when Traeger was starting to talk at 2, he couldn't say grandma, so he called me Go-Go. So
cute.
I'm Go-Go.
I love that. I definitely want a fun name like that, like a Go-Go or a Mimi or something.
Yeah, and then obviously my little granddaughter, she calls me Go-Go because her brother calls me Go-Go.
there.
So that's the name. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so many blessings with all that. So you got married and you got blending all the families and
Yes.
all the good stuff and kicking booty at real estate. You're such a fantastic
you.
realtor. You've been doing it so long. I always joke. I'm like, most of the people that come on here are real estate agents. That's just because that's who I know.
Those are your
But they're
friends.
also really amazing people. A lot of I just would never guess, that people are going through so much, under the surface. You can know people in our real estate community for 20 years and not know that they've been through this crazy big thing, and we'll just be talking about listings or whatever. And this is just so
Right.
much more, meaningful to me to really get to the heart of what's going on with people. You know what I mean? I guess once you go through something hard, it's a little hard to be surface with people. So, after my brain injury and everything, my interactions with people got so much more authentic. It's like I just appreciate them more, and you appreciate every day kind of, even if it's hard, you're happy to be here.
Well, and I'm in awe of what you're doing with the podcast and reaching out and helping people and using what happened to you in such a positive, influential way. I just give you so much credit for that. I don't know that I could do this every day.
Well, you're doing it right now. The fact that you came on here and opened up and, I think you're somebody, well, I know you're somebody that no matter what life hits you, you're gonna find your way through and do it with a smile, which is, I'm sure there's so many times behind the scenes that the smile's not always there. I mean, for me too,
Right.
people will be like, you're so cheerful. Are you ever
Right.
upset? Like, talk to my husband on a bad day when I'm flaring and, a nightmare. So it's just part of life. But I'm really inspired by you.
thank you.
Honestly, on a daily basis, I sometimes
you.
will think about, man, you just are a ray of light and sunshine coming out of you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't even know how long we've been talking. I'm gonna check it out real quick because I could talk to you forever. Yeah, honestly, we've been going a long time, and I'm excited to be there for the closing ceremonies.
you.
I think
I
that's a
love that.
good
Thank
call
you
to
so much.
action, and I'm excited to hang out with you and Eric and do a double date sometime.
Would be great.
Go have some fun. But I really, really appreciate you coming on, and anytime, just you're welcome back. I feel like
you.
sometimes we don't have enough time to talk about all of the different facets to somebody's life. So we could be here all day. So if you want to come back again, we can dive in more because you're
Thank
just
you so
incredible.
much. Well, this was great, and I'm so appreciative and so honored that you asked me today.
Yeah, well, we had a good time. I'm proud of us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We did it.
We did it. We were both nervous. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, I have to thank our sponsors, TPS. They are incredible. I don't do the escrow, but I see them on the other side of my escrows, and they're incredible. Right now, they're offering an $89 special to give them a shot. So give them a call. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.